I'm Amelia Honorato. I am the Director of Exhibitions at the Mystic Museum of Art, and I was part of a curatorial team that pulled together Luxe Connecticut Velvet Mills to Modern Runways.
People will encounter these incredible vignettes of the story of textiles from the 1700s to present.
Even though fashion has changed so much and textile production has changed so much, at the end of the day, it all stems from the same techniques and the same materials. And it all ties into the history of textiles and fashion, but also mystic.
Well, I first heard about the gap in our summer exhibition schedule in fall of 25 when I accepted this position as executive director at Mystic Museum of Art.
It actually provided a great opportunity for Alana coming in, being a new person in a new community, to really jump into the history of this region.
When I was driving around, of course, I saw these extraordinary mills, and I learned pretty quickly that there was a velvet industry here, a pretty major one, with two companies, Rossi Velvet and American Velvet Companies. And that was where the kernel of the idea started.
The two velvet mills were huge employers in this area. At one point, pretty much every single family, both in Mystic and Stonington, had at least one person, if not multiple people, working for these companies. And both of them ended up here because there was a bit of a vacuum in the economy from the decline of shipbuilding.
Museums are, I think, trying to bend those boundaries between what has previously been deemed fine art or art done in what others call in craft media. So in a way, Luxe Connecticut, I hope, expands people's ideas about what constitutes art, because we are showing embroidery and beadwork and the rest alongside oil paintings and other works on paper.
So the four fashion designers that we have participating in this exhibition are Toriana Sauro and Xarea Lockhart, who are both emerging Connecticut fashion designers.
This is actually my first fashion exhibition. I've done exhibitions for sculpture, so this is fairly new to me, and I'm kind of confused half the time, but I'm kind of rolling with it. But this is one of my pieces. I had a lot of fun with this. This is one of my suits.
And we also have Peter Som.
Upon hearing about the connection to the velvet industry, Peter looked back and found several pieces. One's from Kristen Stewart, actually wore in Teen Vogue, I think back in 2007.
And Christian Siriano, who I know from winning a season of Project Runway.
Christian definitely has done absolutely star-studded works for celebrities like Halle Berry, Janelle Monáe, Zendaya, all of which are represented in this exhibition.
You want to talk about Halle? Well, this is Halle Berry wore this to the recent Academy Awards. I mean, it was always my dream to dress Halle Berry at the Oscars, so that was on my list. There you go. And Janelle was very creative, so we got to kind of make whatever she wanted, and even to create that hat that would sit on her head all night long was, quite a lot of work, but it's great to see. And the other dresses that are in the exhibition, we have a dress that Zendaya wore, we have a dress that Julianne Moore wore, so it's always exciting to see different types of people wear the clothes and they come to life.
Xarea and Toriana made pieces specifically for this exhibition, while the others, Peter Som and Christian Siriano, selected pieces that often tied into the velvet history of this area, or are beautiful, stunning examples of these antique, traditional techniques.
This is probably, I think, 8,000 pieces of mirrored that are all hand sewn.
Yeah, so I had to painstakingly sit there with glue and a pair of tweezers for a good 5 hours, hand bedazzling it. There's a lot easier ways you can do this, but I chose the painful way.
She wore this dress all night long, I think, to Madonna's Oscars party and Dance the Night Away, and almost every piece is still intact, so that's when you know it's a good dress.
We have worked very hard to make interesting pairings.
That's something that's running through this exhibition, because we do have portraits, oil paintings, prints, but they're completely shown in a different light when they're next to a Christian Siriano or a Peter Som or works by Tori or Xarea.
No, yeah, that's not part of it. But you know what? It complements it.
It's nice to see them in a different light. Like, they've all been worn by famous people, so I think it's nice to see them on display in a different way, not on a human. It's more like they look like pieces of art.
We did pull this exhibition together in about 6 months, and I would not recommend that timeline.
It was a flat-out sprint. Ordinarily, exhibitions can take anywhere from 2 to 5 years to plan.
Just the support and camaraderie between all of these local institutions, so the Mashantucket Pequot Museum, the Mystic Seaport Museum, Historic Stonington. They say it takes a village, but in this case, like, it really, it feels like all of Mystic and Stonington really turned out to make this exhibition a possibility.
There's something very peculiar about how our society is drawn to celebrities and tries to emulate celebrities in all kinds of ways. And certainly by having works of art in our galleries that were worn by specific people, to me, that's adding a really fascinating element to the exhibition, because these garments are a stand-in for these people. I hope people consider a bit of, why is it so important to get close to these objects, to have your photo taken in front of these dresses? What does it signify by having just something that someone wore for half an hour at a photo shoot? Fashion is the most immediate form of how we express ourselves to the world.
To think about these people who lived centuries ago but had some similar experiences to us, I think it really helps history to come alive.
It's really a way for us to see how meaning shifts over time and where people are placing value.
As long as people have existed, we have needed to clothe ourselves and have been motivated to express our individuality and our culture through our clothing. And although that has varied very differently across cultures and times, when you break it down to its individual parts of threads and embroidery and beads, we're all not that different.